Hello folks, so this video is entitled MSTR Dump Worsens. The dump worsens. Everything is crashing right now. The monetary nonsense continues and I am just tired. I am so tired of this. It's funny because I kept updating the slides and I'm just done updating the slides because every 15 minutes it gets worse. And you know, when you see these headlines, this is on FinViz, and they ended like cheap stocks on track for worst day of 2026. This is what I've said since starting this channel. These markets, you know, I was just looking at a chart of the average drawdown between the 2009 period and the 2020, early 2020. You look the average drawdown between 2009 and 2020. The worst one was like 2018, and it was a walk in the park, like an absolute walk in the park, that 2018 crash. In the 2010s, life was amazing. Why? Because the rates were at zero. And when the rates are at zero or close to zero, you don't get that freak out. You don't get a single person's whims who can crash your stocks. I mean, this is absolute nonsense right now. You have Nvidia. Nvidia, a stock I've called cheap so many times. It is still very, very cheap compared to what they're going to do. It's down 5% right now. In 2 hours. In 2 hours. Bitcoin was in the high 59,000 right now. Like I think it's still right now. I don't know. I just hit record. At some point you gotta hit record. But the problem is that you do all of these analyses and you try to invest hours and hours and hours, and you're just not dumb enough to understand the market. Like this is the famous chart where you know, the dumb person pretty much ends up doing much better than everybody else. Like this is the joke. Like if you had been in a money market account, you'd be better off than everybody else because the market have lost reason. They have lost reason. And it is very tough to see for somebody who tries to be as intellectual as he can in his videos. I think I try to instill a lot of sense making in my video. And we don't have that. The nonsense continues. And we're now halfway through year 6 of nonsense. And it's not just Bitcoin that is suffering from this market madness. It's not just Bitcoin. It's monetary policy as a whole. So I'll get to a video in a second, but I thought this screenshot is really, really good. Stocks are dumping. Gold is dumping. Silver is dumping. Crypto is dumping. Bonds are dumping. Even oil is dumping. Oil is at 91. Oh, I thought we were happy when oil was going down. So it's all correlation goes to one. It's all they've turned the market into a casino, and I'm sorry, but I'm angry. This is just making me very, very much angry. And you know, you have people celebrating the pain of others, right? And of course, when you're in the media, right, your main source of income is the media. Your main source of income is creating the FUD. Your main source of income is the views, the attention. You're selling your attention. When you're selling your attention, it's a really good idea to write Saylor murdered Bitcoin. Now, reverse is Kramer tends to be a reverse indicator, so maybe this is a little bit good. Saylor getting a little more responsive here. Just a flesh wound Jim here talking about we're not done, Jim. And you know what's even more frustrating is that we have this tremendous drop right now. We've had 5 days of tremendous drop. You know, I see my portfolio, the pain. It's like you start counting, what could I have done with all this money that I've lost? Like the pain is insane. And you're like, sometimes you want to stop the pain. You're like, okay, why wouldn't I sell and stop the pain? Well, guess what? You could have an even madder week to the upside next week. Next week could be to the upside. Next week you could have Nvidia 250. You could have Tesla 250. Because you could just have a ceasefire agreement. You could just have a random weekend tweet. Like they've turned the market into a casino sometimes. And the fact that this has been going on now for 5 years. This has been going on for 5 years. That fact makes you sometimes wonder if the market is actually investable. Is it actually investable? Right? So anyways, stretched at 92, I just don't know anymore. Probably a really good deal. Yeah, you're gonna get near 13% yield on that one now. Especially now with stretch trading at 92, Sailor will have to increase the dividend next time. We have extreme fear everywhere, 16 and 12. And let me tell you, I think the only solution is to endure the pain. The only solution is to endure the pain. Delete the app. I want to delete the app. I told you at the beginning of the week, you had a bunch of big-time crypto channels who went silent for 4 days. Some of them are still totally silent right now. That's probably what they did. They closed the app. Go for a walk in the park. But this is entirely ridiculous. This is entirely nonsense. I don't know what else to tell you. This is entirely nonsense. So you have people, of course, making claims like this. Oh, even though if you study the company, if you've spent even 10 hours studying strategy, there is no margin call. There is no margin call. There is only dilution potentially, but there is no margin call. The debt is not mark to market. The preferreds are perpetual. And the converts are not due anytime soon. So there is no margin call before 2027. And then you have this is a screenshot from Polymarket. You have people betting, there's a 10% chance of bankruptcy from people who likely have not studied a single bit of the company, and they say, they're going to file for bankruptcy. I guess within the next 6 months, and you have 10% of people who are actually actively betting on this, making money off of this, actually betting that there's a 10% chance. So of course, in my view, using my brain, having studied the company, you're like, okay, it's a free 10%, right? It's free money, this bet essentially. But the problem is that you have to tie up your capital for 6 months. So the opportunity cost is just high. But I really do think that if sense does not come back to the market, if regular analysis, if sense making doesn't come back in the market, and I would argue this is a continuation of the tragedy of indexing. Indexing is a tragedy because indexing has removed price discovery. There's no more price discovery because of indexing, because people are like, okay, well, I'm just going to do indexing because I can't take it anymore. I mean, you can't make this up. Anything that's slightly innovative right now, not just Bitcoin, not just strategy, anything that is slightly innovative right now is down 10 to 12%. For what? It's crazy. So, of course, for what? Well, that's the reason for what, right? The job report is a good thing. The economy is running hot. The jobs are good. According to data, which, arguably is perhaps not the best data given the revisions. So the market is dumping everything on, data which is very medium, if you ask me, not the best data at all, but does not represent the real job picture because it keeps getting revised. And so you have the market believing this data or deciding to believe this data for some reason this week. And so it's dumping. And I'm not kidding, right? This is an old screenshot now. Nvidia's down 5%. Tesla's down 5%. Of course, strategy's down. I think was it 13% at one point today? 12%, probably down 12%. And then Costco, Procter & Gamble, Philip Morris is up. What is this? Any Coca-Cola is the future. It's as if these traditional stocks, I really think some of the future of finance is recreating synthetic stocks via prediction markets. I think that's the revolution we're headed towards. I just want to predict the revenue growth. I want to predict a new product launch, right? I want to be judged on my analysis of the company, not on trying to understand the market's dumb moves, because that doesn't interest me, actually, now that I think of it. So anyways, the problem is, people are like guessing as to what Fed Walsh is going to do. Fed Chair Walsh, what is he going to do? He's a new Fed Chair. We don't know what he's going to do. And so the market is just dumping everything because they think, good jobs plus inflation means there are no pressure to cut rates. No pressure to cut rates because you have good jobs and you have inflation. So there's no pressure to cut rates. That's what the market seems to be believing right now. Now, of course, I happen to believe that rates, it's all a bluff. Rates should be near zero or at zero because the government needs to refinance itself. And it's racing into a wall if the rates don't drop. Right? We're already spending way more than we should on interest. It's just a snowball of debt that is being created because the rates are close to 5%. Or on the 10-year, I don't know, 4.6 or 4.7, or whatever it is on the 10-year. It is that reason. And it is a big problem. You see, of course, fiat money is controlled by one unelected official. And the reason why I said that, actually, Fed Watch, for perhaps the first 6 months, he is going to look the closest to an elected official, right? Because Trump nominated him. So you could argue a nomination is somewhat close to an election. But you see, once someone is nominated, they become independent. And they can just go very much their own way. And so this is only a problem when we're in a period of bluff, right? The 2010s were a much better decade. From 2009 to 2020, that was a much better decade. Why is that? Because the rates were close to zero. And when the rates are close to zero, what are you going to do? Cut them to below zero? Well, Europe tried doing that. Zero is zero. You can't really move it too much from zero. The problem is that we have too much power in the Fed, too much power in the denominator, and that's just crashing the market. But that's an issue with the denominator. That is not an issue with the stocks. And again, people disagree with me on MSTR. They disagree with me on Tesla. That's fine. But NVIDIA, objectively, when you look at the numbers, I mean, objectively, it's like at the center of it all. It's just blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster earnings. It's too cheap. NVIDIA is too cheap. In my spreadsheet, it's too cheap. I'm not the only one who thinks that. You can just go look at the numbers. But the market trades like a casino. It's extremely, extremely annoying. So the truth is, the Fed's rate, the rates this high, it's all a bluff that has lasted for far too long. People are starting to get in trouble, and it's going to get much worse if we keep the rates. The rates need to go down, or we're going to have the mother of all recessions, i.e. a depression. There is no choice. The government has to finance itself. And now we have a system that is freaking out. And by the way, if you believe Bitcoin is a true or free market, you could interpret Bitcoin's drop as Bitcoin saw this coming. Bitcoin smelled this like a week ago. Okay? But now, and of course, these odds, after 6 months, the odds are very blurry. You can't really know. But the first few months of the CME Fed Watch tool, these odds, I would argue, tend to be pretty accurate of the first few months. Looks like we're not getting any rate cut anytime soon, and we may actually get a rate hike towards the end of the year. So I don't know what to tell you. It's monetary nonsense. The denominator is broken. I happen to believe so many of the assets that we own are extremely, extremely undervalued, but they've been undervalued for 5 years now, and it's just getting old, and so maybe prediction markets are a solution to that. Maybe actually betting on our company's performance metrics and not on the stock price is actually a solution to that, because this all makes very, very little sense to me. Let me bet on NVIDIA's revenue. I'd rather bet on the NVIDIA revenue figure. Anyways, but the problem is that you wouldn't have any volume, right? Because people wouldn't take the other side of that bet. So we need this fixed. This needs fixed. And there's manipulation in TradFi a lot too. And it's probably getting a lot worse as we speak. So I'm not happy about this, really, really much. And you're not alone. You're not alone feeling the pain if you feel the pain. Anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe. Follow me on Patreon. Follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.